Yes. Interesting. Let's see. Have we gone live? Hello, everybody. ELR 360 Live. Tom Caltabiano here. Have we gone live? Let's see. Let's look at this other camera angle. Welcome, everybody. ELR 360 Live. Yes, did that just kick in? Let's do this over here. Let's click this over here. And then back to here. All right. Talking Thanksgiving. Hello, Mona. Let's see. Is that good? That looks good. That looks good. Let me adjust my camera a little in case I have. There we go. Now we're talking. Hello, everybody. Yes, Karen. Hello, Karen. Sorry, I have to catch up. Do I have a guest for the chair? No, I do not have a guest today. Today is a very tough day because, unlike in the United Kingdom, today is the biggest travel day of the year. I believe in the United States, something like 30 million people traveling. So to get somebody to commit to this time is very tough. But I wish I did have a guest. But I will have a guest next week, I believe. We're lining up a lot of guests because for those of you that don't know, this is Tom Caltabiano, as a writer on Everett Raymond. There from the beginning to the end, and I took a lot of behind-the-scenes photos of the show, of the series. What was I going to say? Of that, I'm segueing into other stuff. Since I've started coming live on this, which is called StreamYard, it allows me to go live to Instagram. It's a little glitchy. It could be operator error, but that's why sometimes I am late because all of a sudden Instagram doesn't go live, and I don't want to alienate anybody. But I do want to talk about the Thanksgiving episode. So I guess a lot of you guys learn about Thanksgiving from watching the episodes of every other show, including Everybody Loves Raymond. Sorry, in my head, I'm framing that whenever Raymond was on the air, ratings were super important. So now you watch it anytime you want on DVD or anything like that. But at the time, it would broadcast and you couldn't really miss it. And so a lot was at stake for the networks for, they have something called Sweeps Week. Now, I don't know that Thanksgiving was always Sweeps Weeks or ever was Sweeps Weeks, but it's a time when everybody is home and everybody, at least during the week, and it's a good chance to get really high ratings. And we lived and died by ratings at the time. So if we had a specific episode like the Bird episode, which lent itself to Thanksgiving, it was like, that's our Thanksgiving show. Others like Marie's Vision felt a little bit more like, okay, we need a Thanksgiving show. We can make that into a Thanksgiving show, as you would say, shoehorning a little bit Thanksgiving into it. No Thanks was a very specific Thanksgiving episode. Here's something beeping. Let's see. Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. Okay, there we go. This, by the way, sorry, I'm just showing this because somewhere inside of here is what I will be trying today. And for those of you that are like, why are you trying anything, Tom? Why are you talking to us about that? Why aren't you talking about the show? And I'm going to add this. When you hear people, when you go online, you get usually the fans, everybody loves everything that you're doing. And then there are what's known as trolls. And even when I watch people, I'm like, don't listen to these angry, mean people. But you do have to jump it a little bit where for people who are like, why are you trying a cookie? I thought we were talking about Everett Raymond. In the writer's room, we did a test of, and for those of you that have been following along for a long time, you know this already, but we had a big disagreement over cookies. Jeremy Stevens, who grew up in Brooklyn, said Hydrox are the best cookies. Those were an East Coast cookie. And we said, no, Jeremy, you are wrong. Oreo, which is far superior. So that got us into a cookie test. And next time we have writer Lou Schneider, who has an amazing memory, we'll talk about that. So that is my long-winded way of saying, like, I enjoy, life is very difficult for everybody, so I like to enjoy a little snack. And British biscuits specifically are not as sweet as American cookies, so you don't feel as guilty. Not that I'm racked with guilt. And then Rhonda, our props woman, sent me the original canister, which has survived kicking and is very heavy. And inside of this, I'm going to be trying to snack every week, and we've done it in the past. For those of you that are going, yes, Tom, we know all about this. All right, so let me catch up on a couple of comments. Let me look at the, as they call it, the Instagram. Let me see if I can go up here. So I'm looking at 3 different screens, a recording device here. Let's see what happens if I sign on here, because I can't see myself. It's like a quantum physics thing. I can't see.
Yes, Tom, we know all about this.
Okay, yes. So
right.
can I
So
mute
let me
me?
catch up on a couple of comments.
See, that's the problem. I can't mute.
As they call it,
I can't mute me on that. So let me see if I can do it here, because, oh yeah, actually, you know what? I can. Hold on one second, everybody. I realize I don't have to hear anybody. Bear with me. This is the first time I'm trying to watch. Yes! Here we go. Now I can see. That's awesome. Now I can see me without hearing me, and I can read the comments. Oreos have a lot of chemicals in them, says Isabella. I didn't expect that comment. Yes, I can't speak for the ingredients of anything, and I don't know. I think I've told you guys about this app. I get no money from it. I was just told about it. It's called the Yuka app, or the Yuka app, Y-U-K-A. And when you open it up, you zap the barcode on anything, and it gives you a rating of 0 to 100. And so you will be amazed anytime I've shown it to my friends. They instantly put it on their phone and then disappear into their cupboard, and they're gone for like 2 hours and going, oh my gosh, I'm eating terribleness all the time. The ingredients factor into that. So let's say an apple is 100 and a Jammy Dodger might be 3. And guess what I eat more of? I eat more of the Jammy Dodger. So you might be right about that, about the ingredients. If you're going to cookies for healthy ingredients, it's more of a challenge, because here's what tastes good: sugar, fat, butter. These are things that are delicious, especially when they are crammed into a cookie. All right. Great. So let me catch up. This is great. So now I can see our Instagram. I can see our Facebook comments. This is a new world completely. And then, of course, I look at my texts to see if anybody in my world texts me. Let me see this. Okay. This, get milk. Okay. Probably not as relevant. Text Jane with the writers, with the Raymond writers, live right now. Here we go. Okay. Mona, is there any way to make this an hour earlier? You know, that would have to be a vote, Mona. Let's do a vote, because we've done this on the Facebook page and Instagram page. And I love this, because when we decided on the Christmas ornaments, for example, and in the past Christmas ornaments, we have always come to a consensus. Now, somebody's always going to be disappointed. Take that into your life, and also for script writing, that a person like Raymond is always going to disappoint somebody, and usually it's his mother or Deborah. So we can take a vote on it an hour earlier. So the reason I picked 2 p.m. is it's kind of late in the UK. In Australia, it's a little early still. So if we go an hour earlier, we're going to get people getting off the night shift in Australia, and Australia is a very, very big market. So let's see if people want to do an hour earlier, if people are having to stay up past it. All right, there you go, Mona. We are heard. Hello, Annabelle. Annabelle, do you have any pictures? So Annabelle is one of our major fans. She came to a lot of episodes, and she held the canister herself on set. And again, I think it's the only time I took a picture of a fan holding the canister. Most people who worked on Everill's Raymond do not have pictures of the canister. So very lucky. But Annabelle, we did a live show in Ridgefield, Connecticut, way back in March of 2007, I want to say. And I think you attended it. And we were talking, I was talking to a couple of people, and they're like, where did we? I don't remember that show that much. So anyway, if you have any pictures, and I think you did post a picture in the past, you can dig them up. Okay, let me go to comments. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving in the United States. Ciao, Joe. Hi, Linda. Hi, Tom. Hello, everybody. Okay. Hello, Gil, in the United Kingdom, who has also held the canister, but not on the set in front of our old production office. Hello, Kim. Yes. Okay. The tofu turkey. So I want to go through the episodes in somewhat of an order, not too extensively, but to talk about them. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving is always the last day of sweeps. Oh, Joe, thank you. It actually starts the week before Halloween, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Okay, so Joe, I'm assuming they still do sweeps week. So for people that are uncomfortably young, it's kind of like, what are you talking about? I watch what I want when I want. And that just was not the case. And so there was really a measure of how many people are watching. So, and people will be like, well, who cares? Well, if you do well in sweeps weeks, you might get more advertising dollars put to your show. And it's like a cycle. If you don't do well, then the network might go, you know what? We're not going to advertise Everose Raymond, and let's let it die a horrible, slow death of rated number 100. And then we will never see the show again. So really, really, really a lot went on for that week. And I think for that episode, for the sweeps episodes, and it's not to say that all of a sudden Phil, who was, for those of you who don't know, Phil Rosenthal was the head writer of Everose Raymond. The showrunner is the term they use. It's not like Phil's like, you know what, I'm not going to try as hard on these scripts, but there was a feeling of specialness around the holiday episodes. Okay, hello, yes, great, all right, sorry, if it's too many niceties, Kim, you're good with any time of day. Good afternoon. The Thanksgiving episodes are amazingly funny. Hello, Henry Wang, right? Are there any ideas that you wished you would have included in the show or ended up in the cutting room floor? Yeah. So, Henry, an excellent question. And I would say, first of all, just to be clear, I had zero say in what went on the air, what got cut, etc. You could plea passionately, and Phil would be like, "Okay, you seem pretty passionate about this idea. I'll give you the time of day. I'll listen to this." And Phil was very fair in how he ran the show. Meaning, on some shows, the lower level writer, and people start out at different levels of writing, and Aaron Shore told the story about being on a show where he was a staff writer, and at the writer's room table, he couldn't even sit at the table. He had to sit behind the table, a row away from the table, which seems very demoralizing, and if you're trying to build a teamwork environment, not very good. So, having said that, for me, I think the only thing that keeps coming up in these episodes, in my lives, are a lot of people wish Amy and Robert became pregnant and had a kid, and it would have been a nice little bow tie on their life. But at the time, Phil wanted to do a spin-off, and so them becoming pregnant was a lot of story to add, and they could have thrown it away as one line, which would not be that rewarding, because you really want to see that story played out. You really want to see what it would be like if Amy was pregnant with Robert. And the sequel did not happen. So in retrospect, that would have been nice. But as far as like, this really great idea for a Thanksgiving episode, I wish we had done it, that didn't exist. We had a dry erase board. The entire writer's room was run by dry erase boards. And I know that, I believe Seinfeld, they wrote everything longhand on yellow pads. So, on those dry erase boards were ideas for other episodes that Phil would say, okay, Tom, that story you told, which you bored us with, might be a good story. Put it up on the board. Okay, so we would look at the board occasionally, and it would be like Jazz Records, which was not called Jazz Records, I don't think, at the time. It was called something else. Phil would you would tell a story in mine, Jazz Record stories based on a real life story. That would go on the board. And then Phil would look at it, and I think James Bond in Kindergarten was a Scrovan story that never got made. And what's funny is I found today, I was digging deep in my archives, looking for anything Thanksgiving related. And I found nothing, zero from all of my things related to Thanksgiving. However, I did find many of the blueprints of the stage, and I'm doing right now what you're not supposed to do, which is talk about something without showing it, but I will dedicate a whole episode to when we have Sharon Bussey or somebody else who is dealing with the stage, to the blueprints. But I bring it up because the name of the episode is not necessarily the name of the episode that you know it as now, meaning Phil had to be ahead of the game, give Lisa Helfrich Jackson, who's the line producer, here's an episode coming up where a woman eats a frog. A woman eats a fly, and her apartment's filled with frogs. So we need a woman's apartment. We need all this stuff. And so that might go to Lisa Helfrich. So weeks in advance, so that the people who have to build the sets get the plans. And so when I was looking frantically for Thanksgiving-related stuff, and keep in mind, folks, I have 420 scripts in my basement, safely stored, right next to the furnace, right underneath the water heater. It's perfect. On those blueprints, I'm looking at it going, what is that show? It's not a show that we ever made. It's because Phil had to send it early and it wasn't established yet. So let me see. That is an interesting aspect of the workflow. So going back to the writer's room, in the writer's room, you would have that episode on the wall and it would say, whatever, jazz. And so that became Jazz Records, et cetera. Okay. Henry, that was a great question. And also, I'll add a quick addendum. When the show was ending, we only did 16 episodes, I think, and that was a negotiation between Phil and Les Moonves, the president of CBS, of how many to do. At that point, all the writers, we knew that we were about to be unemployed. And so every extra script meant more of a paycheck. I know it's a giant hit now, and it brings you comfort, and it makes you laugh, and it's such a show, but there's a basic economics, which is if you don't think of more stories, you are unemployed, and your paycheck instantly stops, and you're out on the street. And so we really tried to come up with additional stories. And there was also an element where Phil and Ray were like, we don't really want to repeat the stories, and are there any stories where we feel like it's becoming formulaic, etc. Now, I will say that and know that Pat's Secret, where she smokes, one of the funniest episodes of the series, and that's, and that whole last season was strong. I think I'm going to get a mic with a cough button. Okay, here we go, folks. Look at that. Right side up in red. I have to drink this tea, sorry. What am I drinking today? By the way, did I have? Okay, let me see. Let me look around. Oh, I had it in my hand, but it must have been lost. Here it is. Don't panic, anybody. Here we go. I got to reach down. There we go. Wow, it's weird that it's all right side up. Yorkshire tea, as we say. Taylor's Yorkshire tea. Delicious. Delicious tea, which I think I bought it at an airport, because it has the pound, which we don't have here in America. Okay, let me go back to a couple of questions. Here we go. Tofu turkey. Yes, tofu turkey. I wonder if Susan Van Allen is around. She would be good to talk to about tofu turkey. I should text her right now. Annabelle, an hour earlier would make my husband happy. Well, Annabelle, we don't want an angry husband. That is true. He always has to wait for late dinner on Sunday. Let's see, but it also gets me out of cooking. And we go out to, oh, I see. Wow, you're spilling all your motivations. Okay, great, Annabelle. You did attend that show. Yeah, so we'll take a vote on it. So I picked 2 p.m. LA time because getting guests, if I do it at 1 o'clock, people might have lunch. You know, I like when Phil visits us, and Phil Rosenthal has a show called Somebody Feed Phil. So he takes his lunch time very seriously. So that would probably knock out Phil as a guest. So that's why 2 o'clock is a time that I picked that I thought worked for everybody. Also, I could start just a few minutes earlier instead of a few minutes later. Joe, and again, oh, that's right, I forgot this. Here we go. There we go. How about that? Definitely still do sweep. How does that show up on Instagram? Does that show up on Instagram? Definitely do sweeps, but the motto in TV stations is we're always sweeps week. So yes, we still do them, but I think they are a little less relevant now. Yeah. So that is very good to know, Joe. That is really good to know. Okay, here we go. Phil was on the 60th anniversary of Mary Poppins show the other night. It had creator and showrunner on ELR underneath him as we talked. So my husband needed me to explain showrunner, which I could do very well thanks to you, Tom. Okay, yes. That's great because it's, as I've said in the past, showrunner is a relatively new term. It didn't exist when, in the days of Norman Lear. It sounds, when I first heard it, I thought, I guess the showrunner runs for coffee or something. And oh, was I mistaken. You never want to ask the showrunner to get you some coffee. Not that anybody ever got us any coffee. Okay. Hi, James. Just started watching recently. This brings back fond memories of tuning into Jim Gaffigan's Family during COVID. Oh, I did not know Jim did that. I actually, bizarrely, we mentioned Connecticut. I did a lot of stand-up comedy with Jim Gaffigan in Connecticut, in Westport, a place called the Treehouse up in Westport. Hello, Karen. I would actually prefer a weeknight. Just my 2 cents. Weekends can just be hard for availability, whereas I tend to be home in the evenings. Are you saying, Karen, that you're too popular on weekends? Is that a problem? Okay, yeah. Weekdays really run into trouble. For me, getting guests. The biggest thing is guests. And that's why Sunday afternoon, a lot of people have more wiggle room versus during the weekday. Anyway, or weeknight evening. Yes, okay, Mona. Yeah, Phil is getting around on the things. I can't find a way to post them in this chat. So I found a way to share them. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Annabelle. I think I messaged you, and I don't think it was able to go through about that same thing. Nutella hot chocolate. Okay, Kim. Now, that sounds like a very good suggestion. And I think also, I'm juggling a lot of things right now. That sounds incredibly healthy. Okay, so yes, Karen, what British business did you buy from the picture you posted earlier? So for those of you, let me see if I have my phone here. For those of you that are joining in, Tom Cultipator here, writer on Everybody Loves Raymond. Let's see. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me see this. So what I'm now doing is checking my Facebook page on my phone so I can show you an image. I have a lot of things open here. This is me now again listening to me. Not good. Okay, let's go back here and let's go to Everybody Loves Raymond. Okay, so here we go. This is. Okay, come on. Try and focus. There we go. For those that didn't see on Instagram, I posted that picture. It's almost all walkers on that page. Of course, for anybody who's British, you're like, yeah, I recognize them you don't have to tell me what they are. But as an American, almost everything I'm showing right here is completely foreign. like foreign as in doesn't ring a bell. Wow, that's really good camera. Compliments to Logitech, the Logitech Brio. Jammy Dodger, sorry for those of you getting seasick. Hobnobs, gluten-free hobnobs. You know, regular hobnobs really fall apart. Penguins. And so gluten-free hobnobs have to be, you just need a vacuum in your lap to eat them, I imagine. Because I was warned, there's another British shop here that was at a place called World Market. I get no benefit from mentioning places. But there's a British shop here called the Friar Tuck Shop. And the woman, when I said I'd like to try everything you possibly have, I think this might have been during COVID, the height of COVID. So I had a mask, she had a mask. So she could have robbed me and I could have robbed her. Now I think about it. But I said, how about these hobnobs? They look delicious. She said, yes, but they will crumble and they will fall apart in your tea. And I said, okay. And I love them. They are very healthy. I think they got a 3 rating or a 4 rating. So to me, that is almost a vegetable. Okay. Karen Edwards. Yes. Yes, Annabelle, you love Jim Gaffigan. Yes, very, very nice guy. He came to the set of Raymond somewhere. I might have a shot of him. I don't remember, though. It's interesting because it's pre-iPhone days. And when you, of course, I always had my camera with me 99.9% of the time, but it's also film. So nowadays, I'm always have my regular camera with me. I think Karen, who came up to me and Phil, saw that I had my regular camera. But in film days, you couldn't shoot really in low light. And so after 2007, almost every event I have some sort of record of, no matter what time of day it is. When Jim Gaffigan was on the set, I remember he came into the green room and we chatted briefly. And I don't remember that's a good thing, because somewhere in my archives, and I've said this before, because I want to do a puzzle for Christmas, a couple of puzzles. Let me know if you're interested in a puzzle. And what made me think of that is I have to go through my archives because Christmas photos with the whole cast are elusive. I have a couple of really good Christmas photos, but I think Jazz Records, there might be a shot where the entire cast is there. And there's a couple of shots that you see that are on online that are publicity shots. Like there's a Thanksgiving shot and there's one around the gifts, etc. So I don't know. So I wasn't there necessarily for them. And a lot of people are like, what about the Christmas picture? For whatever reason, I didn't take a picture of them taking that Christmas picture at that exact moment, as far as I know. I have to look, though. I have Phil giving notes in that set, etc. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll down here and try and catch up. Yes, a puzzle. Interesting, a puzzle. So, first of all, thank you everybody for sharing your Christmas ornament photos. Those arrived really quickly. For anybody that ever has any problem with anything arriving, which I think we've had maybe 3 where we're trying to find what happened over the last 4 years, whenever we started selling stuff. So it's really, really good to let us know rather than stewing and is it finger? Is it nail biting? Or is it, there's something, there's some word. If only I knew a comedy writer. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm catching up on the, I don't mind, 2 p.m., 10 p.m. in the UK. I'm usually awake until 2 a.m. Gil. I don't know if that's healthy. You got to get some sleep. Okay, a puzzle. Oh, so let me just post this picture because I tried to clear up a lot of things with a lot of, for those of you that don't know, these are Christmas ornaments. Those are some of our fan photos of the Christmas ornaments, the Peter Boyle one, which benefits the multiple myeloma organization. And it's very easy for us to track, which is really good. Okay, so Patty, Patricia Heaton, that you know, Deborah, is, this is a photo I took of her in the kitchen, juggling the turkey, the slippery turkey, and then she slips on the floor. Brilliant, brilliant scene. And then I posted also the script. Now, the thing that's most interesting to me is, I believe it says here, She drops the turkey and then she drops it twice more and then storms off. Now, Patty had to deliver that perfectly. Here's the intriguing thing to me. When I read about people saying she just dropped it and the producers went with it, that's completely legitimate thought because it's so well executed. The interesting thing is to me when I post the picture of the script and then people have written, that's wrong, it was an accident and they kept it in. And I'm thinking, okay, I am posting the script from the show. There's no nefarious thing of people writing a script after the show. It's just you go crazy trying to think. It's that gets into like a conspiracy theory. So I understand the theory that it was an accident, but once I post the script, I find the people disagreeing to be an interesting event. Okay, let's see. Okay, because I showed that picture, let me bring this up also. All right, some people have asked me, hey, I notice you have like a watermark across the center of your photo. So I will make a post. My people have been like, please, please, please put a watermark on your photo. A watermark is a faint, copyright or something that's so you know whose picture it is. I am super happy to share all of my photos. And a lot of sites do the right thing, which is just share it. You just share, just like I do. I'll share. Phil puts up a post about something. I share it to my page, and then you see where it comes from whence it came. But recently it was brought to my attention that another site has been putting a watermark over my watermark and claiming it for their themselves and taking my exact verbiage, cutting out my personal stuff, and then putting it on their page as if it's theirs. And so I started putting up in the middle, and this will be, again, folks, Everybody Loves Raymond, a sitcom. We're not talking about global warfare here or politics where things get heated. We're talking about a feel-good sitcom that is supposed to make you feel good. So I will post this. So you understand what I'm saying, and it's just kind of important for the in the long run for people. I just don't understand it. For people to do the right thing. There you go. And so after I put the watermark through the center, they covered the entire center of my photos and posted it within an hour. And so it's a deliberate, not an accident, because there is, folks, let me just keep going on my soapbox here for a second. There is a thing where people are like, and as you can tell, I don't seem like a very egotistical, like that is my photo and you must give me credit. But when you crop my copyright out and put yours over it, that seems a somewhat of a deliberate move. And then all of a sudden that gets reposted. So people are like, oh, you have a great photo here. And it's 3 sets removed from me. Okay, so there you go. So for those of you who were asking about that watermark, that is your explanation. And I'll make a very clear post. But I don't want to have a warring faction with another Everybody Loves Raymond site. Okay, so Donnell, this is my equivalent of my reading glasses, is pulling my glasses up. Could it be that the unscripted bit of the scene of her dropping the turkey was her slipping on the water turkey juice on the floor and her excellent recovery? Yeah, so within, I guess that's where people get a little bit, Donnell, awesome question. When I'm saying it's not that we, there is stuff that happens in the show that's not scripted. I talk about it in Jazz Records where Robert wants to make an announcement and, Deborah's like, go ahead, Robert, what is it? And Robert goes, well, okay, I'm going to tell you. And he mumbles, and it's one of the funniest scenes ever. I wrote the script. I did not mumble it in a brilliant comedic way. That's all Brad Garrett. That's 100% Brad Garrett coming up with that and making it hysterically funny. So Patty slipping on the floor, Patty executing it. Like I said, somebody not able to execute it, it becomes a terrible, I was going to say hammy bit, but it's with a turkey. So it could be confusing to AI, which we just found out all of the Raymond scripts have been inputted into an AI thing somewhere. We just found that out this week. So let me see. Sorry. So Donnell, yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. Look at this, Tom. How about you use your technology? There. Yes. Great. And now Karen, I've noticed the word's very subtle, but doesn't distract me. Yeah. Good idea. So Karen, yes, that is a good idea. But here, I'll just do this just so you guys know what we are dealing with. And again, I just want to spread the word about the stories of Everybody Loves Raymond. So I put my subtle watermark there. Let's see here. And let's see here. So yeah, that is a very subtle watermark. You can barely see it. You see it on Ray's chest. Okay, that's that. And then the other people put that over my watermark as if it was theirs. So that's not what you would call an accident. So there you go. Yeah, trying to settle. Because for those of you who don't know, there's a thing called Getty Images. Getty Images sells photos. And when you go to Getty Images, like if you look up Everybody Loves Raymond on Getty Images, you can look up the Emmys, for example, and you'll see pictures of me somewhere in those photos. That those photos have Getty written 50 times, and it really ruins the photo for watching, for looking at it, but it prevents people from stealing. I'd like to not get to that point because then it's really not enjoyable. It's ruining the viewing thing. Okay, Annabelle, let's see. I love just after when she drops the turkey and Ray says drop the turkey. I didn't see that in the script you posted. So was that added? Let's see, Annabelle. Is that, okay, let me go back to this. Oh, look at this photo. You're getting an insight if I show it to you, to my photos. Let me see this. Okay, interesting. Shopping. Okay, Frank, what? Okay, that's another script. That's the other script. Here is how, let me see this. Yes, that is how the mugs arrived, by the way, in a hermetically sealed, completely inaccurate use of the term, styrofoam clam type of apparatus, and the mug arrives incredibly intact, as you can tell, able to hold all of my British tea. Annabelle, I will look that up in the script. That could have been added, but I feel like that was in the script for some reason. And I did post that Ray changed a line, or somebody changed a line from the script, and that could have been from him, from Raymond, rehearsing the script and doing it over and over again. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Raymond texting me. Here we go. All right, let's keep going. We're going to run out of time. We can't run out of time. Who else is eating Thanksgiving lunch while watching this? Yes, Karen, the curse of that. Okay. Hi, Lynn. I don't know. Tom, who chooses which episode show when? Is it the show or the station? I ask as so often with parts 1 and 2 rather than back to back to see the whole show. Part 2 is middle of night or next day. So, hi, Lynn. Welcome. When the show initially aired, it was the show providing the episodes. So there's a lead time, and I think we were 4 weeks ahead for the most part on episodes. So there's a lead time because the show, there's all kinds of things. You have to shoot the show, then you have to edit the show. Then once the show is edited perfectly, then you have to do a sound mixing and a color correction, etc. And then you have to get it to CBS, and they have to check it and then upload it, etc. So there is no switching of episodes once you've committed. You can shoot them out of order if you have enough time, like Pat's Secret was shot earlier in this season, and then it was the second last to air. As far as now on the reruns, if you're talking about that, reruns or in syndication, as they say, or on a streaming service, they usually air it in the order that it originally aired because it saves them work. And also, if there's an episode that's a series arc where, for example, where Deborah is no longer talking to Marie and Marie is no longer talking to Deborah, you can't drop one where they're talking in between them. Otherwise, you can do anything, but it would be weird because the audience would be like, wait a minute, I thought they weren't talking. What's going on? All right. So Let me catch up now here on. I hope that answers your question. I wish I had control. At this point, nobody has control. Like Phil, Ray, nobody has any say. It's up to the individual station to decide what they show. Yes, turkey leftovers for everybody. Yes, Ryan, would Chris Elliott stop by? I don't know. I'd have to reach out to Chris. You know, there's a lot of people who worked on the show who I still haven't had as guests, people behind the scenes, which I know we all want to hear from the stars and the people on camera, but a lot of times the behind the scenes people have many, many, many more stories. Which reminds me, who is listening to Office Ladies podcast? Because even though I have an archive of 300, I think 300 shows or more, but I need to do it as a formal podcast using some of the old stuff as best of or something like that, and the new stuff. So yeah, I'd be curious who is listening to Office Ladies podcast. So wow, sorry, I'm just digesting a lot. From Toaster Lips, that in itself is an interesting thing. Hi, Tom from Mukilteo, Washington. Are you friends with Tony DeSena? Is that why you're? Because I think he was last seen in that location, at least according to the IRS agents who are on his tail. Yes, I love Chris. Chris would be a great guest, and I was asking Annabelle about in 2007, we did a live show at the Richfield Playhouse. Is that what it's called? In Richfield, Connecticut. And afterwards, Phil and everybody on the show, we went back to Chris Elliott's house, and he is just pure joy to work with. So, okay. Let's see. Okay. Good. Ryan, good. Yes, Ryan, I'll be curious on that, because one thing that I'll say is when everybody wants to hear from the stars, because as do I, and people want to meet Humphrey Bogart and the rest of the clan from Casablanca. They don't necessarily want to meet with the writers of Casablanca, Ingrid Bergman. Yes, so I get it, but the actors they don't know the genesis of the stories. They don't know, everything about the stories or how they came about. They're really in the dark, and then they hit a home run reading the script. So a lot of times, even though you want to hear from the actors, you don't necessarily get as much information as you do from people behind the scenes. And I would like to talk to so many people that were involved with the set, et cetera, et cetera. All right, the puzzle, someone just asked me. The puzzle, yeah. So I think we can have it available to order tomorrow. Let me just see this. Let me see this. Oh, yes, here we go. So there we go, folks. There's the, yes, don't worry, the photo is clear. Come on, baby. There we go. So that, we have to vote on what is the picture that we want to be the puzzle. And we can do a few. So let me know. Sorry for the shaky hand. Here, let me stabilize it. There we go. So that's the cover photo of the book that I took using a medium format camera that was given to me by the Key Grip Jim Dunn. A really good photo. It was the photo that we selected for the cover of Everrose Raymond, Our Family album. Thanksgiving. Before I dig into this and pick one of the things. So Karen, you asked me, I didn't ignore your question about what did I get. In here, don't really recognize it, is a cookie that I will try, or a biscuit, as you guys say. The Thanksgiving episodes. I think I'm going to have to do another episode about the Thanksgiving episodes. Turkey or Fish, season 1. Turkey or Fish. I'm just going to race through with my personal recollections. A great episode, beginning of the series. There was a moment where Deborah starts crying about her vegetables. I believe that was it, if she had no yellow, etc. And I know that at that point, I believe Phil was like, we know she's a good actress, but this ability to swing was very much reminiscent of Mary Tyler Moore's ability to swing from one emotion to another and have it be really believable. I remember Phil Leeds being on the show. Phil Leeds plays Uncle Mel, and he was like an iconic character actor. And I remember, I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast, that he said during the table read, I think, of all the shows I've on, this one is the latest. And I felt almost not offended, but I was like, oh, I really think we have a good show. But he was just kind of done so many shows that he's just used to saying that line. A really, really great, episode, and also plays out the dynamic of Doris, of Marie and Deborah with the turkey or fish type of thing. Of course, season 2. Let me do this now. Sorry, everybody. Back. Let me just catch up on Instagram. Am I missing anyone? The tofu turkey. Okay, Chris. Yes. Okay. I'm caught up here. Let me do this. Okay. Just doing a little bit of my taxes right now, which I guess you guys don't mind. No fat. Yes. No fat. Season 3. Episode 10, No Fat, was great. The tofu turkey, I think it was made out of, we'll have to ask Rhonda. I've picked Rhonda's brain. Rhonda Robinson was the head of props. I think it was a gelatin type of thing. Some of the funniest lines, Frank, pass me the knife. I'd like to cut my, yes, that line is great. Robert's reactions, physical comedy, can't write that. Brilliance, really, really good. No Thanks. Which I think, did I just post a picture of it? No Thanks, where we find more out about the power struggle between Deborah, like she's incredulous, like here, again, the watermark, where she looks for support and she gets this from them, from Raymond and Robert, and we find out that she is kind of an island all alone, and you really feel bad for her because she, Frank, I remember... this is a personal recollection. I remember we were trying to get the timing of Peter Boyle doing the, Frank, I think she turns to him and he's supposed to do it. And it took a while to nail that beat that Phil was trying to get. The fighting in-laws with the dropping of the turkey. And that's interesting because people just identify the dropping of the turkey and they don't necessarily always know what that episode is from. But the fighting in-laws, yes, with Robert Culp and Catherine Hellman, who added so much to the series. Of course, they were completely iconic. But that scene with dropping the turkey, I mean, I don't think there's a funnier scene in our series than that. And again, you just can't top that. And the laughter in the studio audience was phenomenal. I just found some more different angles that I will post of them. Older Women, I think a Jennifer Crittenden's story. Great twist. Great. Just you don't see it coming. It's completely the opposite of where you think it's going when they're talking about having a sister or brother when she enters. Just a really, really funny episode. And I think Raymond and I wrote Jealous Robert, which aired after that, right? Jealous Robert was after Older Women. And whenever you want every show to be great, but when a show is so good, you're like, oh, why do we have to follow that? Marie's Vision, an outside script written by Jay Kogan, who was a writer. We've had him as a guest here. He won an Emmy for his writing on Frasier. And that was sometimes too emotional for people. The Bird, of course, I believe that started with Jeremy Stevens, who Jeremy Stevens was a writer, and his wife is a super, super sweetest person on the planet. And I think she rescued a bird. And so I believe it was Phil Rosenthal who had the idea that Pat does the dirty deed, which twists of the entire thing. And then, of course, Deborah's Parents, where it's like spring break up there. And, of course, all of the controversy about the pillows, poor Raymond's pillows. Why doesn't he rescue his pillows? He knows they're coming over. Well, comedically, yes, it's like if everybody did everything properly, you would not have a funny show. So there we go, racing through. Yes, very good. That is a very good line right there. Yes, Frank, exceptionally funny. This line, yes, Kathleen, no brother for Deborah. And it was, and I think this is what Phil did so brilliantly was you take a story that you think is going one way and then it goes another way and goes even deeper emotionally. And so that's kind of the reward of the show versus just joke, 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 joke. And you're finding out he doesn't want anybody younger. He just wants somebody different. And so it turns into this communicative property of wives hating their husbands for being a certain way. Yes, Beth, Raymond trying to, yes, I just scanned some of those photos. Okay, let's taste. Did I forget anything? Let me check my text. Let's taste what is in. Let me see. Let me see this. Okay, this. More Raymond Writers stuff. Okay. The cookie tin, again, there's a couple of them. The original, this, wow, that's loud. That was unintentional. So let's see what I have inside the cookie tin. By the way, for people that are like, where did you get that? Where can I buy it? This is far as I know, a custom-made tin. It's really heavy. I should weigh it at some point. There's a seam right there. This is a, whatever you guys call it in the crafts business, an applique. Is that what you would call it? Okay, let's see, drum roll here. This, okay, this was placed in here. Here we go, folks. Wow, this gets, there we go. For Americans, do you know Penguin? Do you know this snack? The Brits are going, yeah, how do we not know that? It's so where is this in the scheme of things? Where is, for those of you that, here, let me put the canister down. Sorry, everybody who likes the canister. Don't let it drop. Okay. There we go. Mint penguins. Okay. I will taste them, McVitie's, and give you my very honest opinion. Okay. Let's do this. Let's catch up. So for Americans, do you know penguins? I know for Brits, it's like, I just said that, but just for Americans, I've never heard of them. So this is only recently, okay, individually packed. There you go. Okay. We'll see how that tastes. Let's see. Yes. Karen, love Penguins bars in the UK. They have a joke on the wrapper. Okay. Karen, I only see ingredients. Let me see. Penguins don't have teeth. Bristles in their mouth? Is that what it says? Bristles in their mouth help them out? I would not classify that as a joke. I'm not saying you would either, Karen. I'm just saying that's all I could read. I'll post a picture of one. Okay, let's see what it is. For Americans, I'm doing a service, okay? Do I have to spend every Sunday eating a delicious snack? No, but I do it for you because I am a nice guy. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay, that canister was apparently pretty warm. By the way, it's 75 degrees here today. Okay, that's what it looks like on the inside. Look at this. Camera is pretty good, right? Okay, so dark chocolate. Oh, wait. Hey. I'll be with you guys in about 20 minutes. Okay, let's see. So, I'm a sucker for mint. I think my favorite ice cream is chocolate chip mint, and I think Raymond's, because when we go to get ice cream together, which is more often than you would think that two grown men go to get ice cream, chocolate mint is the thing. So this is fantastic. This reminds me of a Tim Tam, the mint Tim Tam for my Australian friends. So which predated which? Who was the first? Okay. Yeah, so it's minty. It's got a wafer. It's got a crunchy wafer, so it gets you that crunch, that bite that Frank was looking for in his tuna sandwich. Okay. I guess, do I need a manicure too? Is that the notes? Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. I do physical labor too. So let me see. See, this is a problem. Okay, so it's a chocolate. I'm using my expert palate to tell you what it is. It's a delicious chocolate outer that's a little bit melting with a wafer that gives a crunch, and then a minty flavor. This is delicious. I'm declaring this as delicious. I may not be able to eat just 1 or 6. Okay. The Tim Tam, which came first? The Tim Tam? Kim, you're down south, right? So that's why. Where is it colder? 19 degrees in Wisconsin. Okay, Ryan. That is very cold. 23 degrees in Fahrenheit. 20 degrees Fahrenheit in Montreal. Wow, that's pretty bad. Yes, the perfect irony of that. Annabelle, sorry, Phil does it on his show, and his cup says, eat with your mouth full. Talk with your mouth full? What does he say? I have to find his mug. Annabelle, I'm glad I was able to educate you. You expected them to be shaped like penguins. I would too. That doesn't seem like a crazy assumption. Hi, Joe. It's more of a cookie than a candy bar. It's definitely not candy bar. It's more of a cookie or a biscuit, as they would say. Yeah, it's really good, not too sweet. I'm going to classify it as almost a health food. I love hearing the weather reports. I'm not kidding. It's like a taste of back to my youth growing up on the East Coast. All right, what else do we have to share? Yes, Bob Silva. Did I say that already? Very similar to a Tim Tam. Now I'm suspicious. Did Tim Tam copy? Was there a big warfare over the type of chocolate bar that there is? Okay, so let me just see this. Let me go back to Instagram before I say goodbye for this week. There's so much more to cover. Yes, New York City. Hello, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Everyone's Raymond, wrapping up. Hi, Lynn, 29 degrees in northern New Jersey. Let's see this. British chocolate is better than American chocolate. Interesting. Chocolate chip mint ice cream is great. Yes. I'm checking Amazon for penguin chocolate thing. Yes. So they have a mint one, and I think they have a regular one. I think, let's see this. Okay. Yes. So just so you know, the program I'm on feeds me only the comments from Facebook. So I have to scroll up and open a separate window and then look at that. Penguins are bars of chocolate, not cookies, the Complex Human says. Interesting. What defines a cookie? Because this definitely does not have the density of a bar of chocolate. It feels more like a chocolate-covered cookie than a bar of chocolate. Never heard of penguin cookies. See, thank you. I do like to hear that. Never heard of. Yes. I don't know. So yes, the tofu cookie was made of a gelatin substance, and Rhonda will come on here. Rhonda will tell us exactly what it is made of. Hi, LOL. That's not me saying it. I'm just trying to get LOLASTACE. I don't know if you can pronounce that in the human language. Hello, Greece. I like that somebody from Greece has the name Costas, because if your name was Larry, I would be suspicious. Where can we find the whole series of the show, Greetings from Greece? I don't know, in Greece. I mean, it's on DVD. I don't know. You can get a DVD of the entire series. They make it in a little box also, which is really good. Okay, I've caught up on all the Instagram. You're in yes, you're in Bergen County. Hello, Purple Aquarius. A little bit of Jersey trivia there. All right, folks, let me go back to my final look at these. By the way, I did find in my search for a Thanksgiving episode related thing, which I do have. I do have the playbook that Allie is reading from. Karen Edwards, you're correct. That she read from in the Bird episode with the actual play written inside. I did find the original pilot episode written by Phil Rosenthal that Ray and I gave notes. It was a process that ultimately became Rayifying. It was more Ray just putting it into his voice, certain things. But I found that original script, which we printed out in Ray with all of Ray's notes in the margins and changing stuff. So at some point I will show that, which is really, really good. Okay, Gil, Yorkshire tea and the penguin are a great combo. Yes, Gil, I followed your suggestion of getting a mint one, and I now think I will have an addiction to penguins, and I think we have to find out, does anybody own the rights to that? In which case, did Tim Tam have to go fight in court where they were, and did they have the debate? Is it chocolate bar? Is it a cookie, etc.? Yes, 66 in Austin. See that? This is great. 38 in beautiful, is it Delaware Beach? DE Beach, is that Delaware? Okay. Google AI, if to be believed, say that Tim Tams were inspired by penguin bars. Yes, you wonder, did it end up in court? Because that is a court case that you would want to watch. All right, everybody, Tom Caltabana here, writer on Everose Raymond, photographer, unofficial photographer of the show, saying goodbye. Happy Thanksgiving for those of you who celebrate it in the United States. I will see you next week. Hopefully, I believe we have a guest, and we will catch up on all things on Everybody's Raymond. And again, I'll post the puzzle. I will post more. Thank you for posting. Please post the pictures of your Christmas things, of your Christmas ornaments on your tree. I love them. I will repost them. Here we go. Post pictures of your mugs. I don't have a napkin, so I'm going to have to, I guess, wipe it on my white shirt. Well, I'll figure something out. So yes, we'll be posting this week the gifts, where to order, the ELR 360 shop, which is literally just type in ELR360shop.com. It will come up, the forks, the spoons, all of that, everything available. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for following. Spread the word that we are the friendly place for all information. Everybody loves Raymond. I will see you next week.